Yo, if Vaseline needs somebody to endorse them, I'm your girl. Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Nailed it. Honestly, the first thing I want to say is thank you for all the views on my first video, which was the get to know me, the 15 fun facts. A lot of people were talking to me about it and they said I was a weirdo, but hey, you know, whatever. I just want to say thank you for the views and thank you for the subscribes as well. And if you want to see more content and you're watching this, you too should like and subscribe, because your mates did. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I want to help you make money. In my previous video, I spoke about how I do a few, jobs here and there, and the total amount of the salary with all my jobs combined is pretty generous. But as you can tell by the title, you can actually make that amount of money without even having a degree. And I actually learned that very recently. If I could go back, there'd be certain things I'd redo, but you live and you learn. A goal for a lot of people is to make 6 figures, right? And especially at a young age. And the way people make it a goal, they make it seem like it's very, very difficult, but it is doable. So the thing is, you don't have to be in school for millions of years, and you don't have to be working in a position for millions of years, okay? There's a lot of professions that make, upward towards 6 figures that don't actually require that. They may require like a certification, but you don't need to go get a whole master's or bachelor's degree. For example, like air traffic controllers, web developers, scrum masters, that type of thing. There's a lot of jobs that you can choose from that will give you those 6 figures, but I want to go ahead and be biased and talk about my field of data analytics and data science. Data analytics has been around for a long time, right? Data science is more of a recent thing, I think like the last 2 decades. And basically, data analytics is just being able to analyze data, being able to read it, create a story from it, just gain insights. But when you talk about data science is a lot more complex. There is computer science involved, lots of statistics. It's just more like, it's like data analytics on steroids, basically. So I actually got into the field and I was already working when I realized I actually did not even need a degree to even get where I am. And it's funny because I have like 3 now. I decided to get into this field when I was getting my bachelor's degree, and I was gonna be a doctor, then I was like, nah. Then I was gonna be a nurse, and then I was like, nah. Like, I still wanna work in healthcare though. So what can I do in healthcare? And I did some research and I found something called informatics. Not gonna lie to you, I just applied to the program for a master's degree. And I was just like, I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go in there. I think the money's good. That's cool. Mistake number 1, y'all, please don't do what I did. If you're going into a program, read about it, see what you're going to be learning. Don't just go in there blinded, honey, don't. Because I don't know what I thought it would be, but when I entered, I had to learn a lot of math and a lot of programming. I did not think in a million years that I would ever learn how to code, but apparently in the data science and analytics field, you do need to know that. That is like a necessity. I was really struggling. I'm not gonna lie to you, all of my classmates basically had like a math undergrad or a computer science undergrad, but here I am with like a healthcare undergrad, and I had to do a lot of like self-studying outside of the schoolwork. And honestly, I should have realized it then, because I wasn't really learning in my classes. Like, it was just me on my own. Like, I went out of my own way to learn what I needed to know. So I really truly didn't need the master's degree, and I actually learned that later on. Like, for real, I actually didn't need it. Like, for real. With my degree, I've been able to work in the healthcare data analytics space, which is really cool because we look at things like, oh, who's more likely to get diabetes, or who's most likely to be a very high cost claimant, which is like someone who has like $1 million in spend in like 1 year, which is significant. So we're able to analyze those trends, able to predict things as well. So it's very good to have that kind of insight to share with, healthcare systems and hospitals. So what made me actually truly love this field was when I was doing my master's degree, and we had so many projects. I was doing my master's degree, and we actually had to do an analysis on COVID-19. That was early last year, like when it just, became a thing in the United States. And our task was to do kind of a prediction model in Python. And so when I finished that project, even though it was very difficult for me, because like I said, my background was lacking, when I finished that project, I was like, this is literally the coolest thing. Like, I just kind of, predicted what the outlook of COVID-19 and the spread is gonna look like just using my coding skills and statistics skills. So I was like, oh my gosh, is this what nerds feel like? But yeah, so ever since I did do that project, which I got 100 on, I have been like in love with the data science and analytics world. It's very funny because when people are younger, when you ask them what they want to be, nobody really says, I want to be a data scientist. So it's really, I think that's a field that you kind of grow up and you're like, oh, actually, it makes sense. So with my degree, I not only work in the healthcare analytics space, but I also do teach. Yes, I teach data analytics skills to not only university level students, but also high school students in a program as well. And it's through those experiences with my coworkers and just, networking and things like that, that I realized you don't even need a degree to be in that field. Let me explain what I mean by that. So the thing is, I remember, I'm like a Reddit junkie, y'all. Love me some Reddit. I was on Reddit and, in the middle of my school year, I was reading how people were, just doing some boot camps and looking for jobs. And I remember in my head thinking, what? How could you? I'm doing a master's. How are you gonna get a job with a boot camp, However, when I did get my first few jobs, I was seeing there's actually a lot of people who either don't have a degree or have a completely unrelated degree, like music, and they're working with me. I actually began to realize, and I had to ask them, like, how'd y'all do it? How are you here? And indeed, it is those boot camps and those apps that people use to learn, in Coursera and like all of those learning applications. They learned it themselves and they put in the work with their projects and they put on their resume and they applied for jobs. Easy peasy, they got a job. And I was like, when I realized this was a thing, I was like, Aoife, did you really go and get a whole degree for this? I mean, like, really? But the thing is, for you to get into this field, if you without a degree, okay, you have to be you have to be real diligent, okay, and relentless. And the reason I say that is because learning these type of things on your own is very difficult, okay? And I say that for a lot of reasons, because there are a lot of needed skills to work in the data analytics and science field. First of all, you need to know math. I'm not gonna lie to you. Math is not my best subject. You do need to know statistics, calculus, algebra, and definitely probability. So over time, even if you don't get it, you eventually will when everything comes together. Also, you need to know programming. Yes, I told y'all I was thrown off guard when I found out that I had to actually code. Yes, and it was really funny because all my siblings code and they'd be talking to each other about this and that and the program and the things they're running and stuff like that. And I'll just be like, yeah. Now we actually have like conversations, like nerd conversations, like, oh, really? Is that what you did? Because I was thinking I should do it this way or in this language. It's kind of cool. Oh, no, you do need to know some programming languages, okay? When it comes to this field, Python is real nice, okay? It's a good go-to. You can do a lot of things in Python. And honestly, if you want to just learn a programming language in general, go ahead and learn Python. It's used across many industries and especially, the data analytics side. But on top of that, there is R programming, which is another statistical programming language. And there are some people that know both. I know both, but I'm a little bit rusty on our programming, but it's cool. Data scientists these days, jobs want them to know either one or the other. I haven't seen that many job postings that have said you need to know only R programming, because I think maybe we're shifting towards just being more on the Python side. Not only that, you also have to know some other applications as well, including SQL. SQL is, how do I describe it? Basically, it deals with your data sets. Maybe like Excel on steroids? I don't know. But SQL, I feel like, is a relatively easy programming application for you to work with. And it's really cool because if you do know SQL, and even if you go get a certification, there's a lot of jobs that actually pay very, very well for simply knowing like the basics of SQL. So if I were you and you don't know what you're doing right now, go and learn SQL, honey. Go and be a database administrator. You'll make some good money, okay? And SQL is very straightforward, and I believe it personally that it's easy. I think it's easier than Excel. So we just talked about the math side and the computer science side, but we also need to talk about visualization. One of the most important things about analytics is, yeah, we can see all of the trends and things like that, but how do we see them? How do we know what's going on? I mean, you could obviously look at like a data set and be able to, point out, different things like the mean and the mode and things like that. But for those who may not be familiar, who may not be savvy in that sense, it is very, very important that you know how to do data visualizations. And you may think, that's easy, just a couple of bar charts, things like that. No, honey, it's not. We actually do have programs that actually help us with that, okay? It's not like we do like little charts in like Excel or something. I mean, you can, but we don't. So what we use are two different things, and that's called TABLEAU and Power BI. I'm very, very familiar with TABLEAU. I do teach it. Power BI I'm familiar with as well, but I don't use as often. And the cool thing about those two is that the data can actually be updated like real time. So it's really convenient for a lot of companies and a lot of industries. Basically, these are data visualization tools that you can show the trends with visually. Like when I did my COVID-19 analysis, I was able to show on the United States map, like the hotspots. Like that is the type of thing that the TABLEAU report or the Power BI report can do for you. And like I said, it updates real time, so it's really convenient. In addition to all of those, you have to be able to communicate well. Yes. And the reason I say that is, you only go so far with being able to just do the work, okay? Because you're gonna have to eventually find yourself having to communicate this to a non-technical team or non-technical team members, right? And because of that, you need to be able to tell a story. You need to be able to communicate it well. And you may say, oh, that's easy. No, it's not easy for a lot of people, okay? I like to, take pride in that just because I believe I speak pretty well. And not only that, but I do teach SQL, Excel, TABLEAU, Python as well. So for me to be able to teach it to like younger people, it should be easy for me to communicate it to, corporate. Long story short, what I'm basically trying to say is to become a data scientist and a data analyst, you do not need a degree. What you need though is a lot of work on your own. A lot of people use boot camps. People pay for some boot camps. Like I've seen like boot camps are like $3,000, $5,000. There's a lot of resources out there, but if you're the type of person that need a push and the push involves you emptying your bank account, by all means, do it. I get it. If I know I paid for something, I better do it. Everything is free, y'all. Everything is free. The internet is free. And, I wouldn't want you to spend a lot of money for no reason. And so when you do end up learning all those skills I mentioned earlier, you can now create your own projects. And your projects, you want them to showcase your ability to do the math, the programming, analyzing the data, retrieving the data, and being able to tell the story. So you want all of your projects to communicate that, and you want to just be able to show that you have a solid understanding of what data science is, what data analytics is, what different tools do, how to integrate tools. Like for example, how to integrate SQL and TABLEAU or things like that, right? Just projects that'll give you a good indication that, okay, this person knows what they're doing. And the reason I say that is, yeah, you can do all the boot camps you want, you can do all the training you want, but the thing is, for someone to employ you, especially without any experience, how are they gonna know that you even know what you're doing, other than obviously giving you a test. But nobody, you know, they're not gonna waste time and see that like on your resume you have absolutely no projects and you took a boot camp, right? They want to see the work that you're doing and that you're able to do it before they even call you in. So my suggestion is, if you do decide to go through that route, please, please, please go ahead and build up a portfolio or a resume. And that will give you a good leverage compared to other people. One thing I will say is, it seems like in the industry as we're going along here, more and more jobs prefer you have a degree, and not just a degree, a master's degree. So what I'm saying is, if you are trying to decide whether getting a master's degree or just doing a boot camp, I'll let you know right now, it is very helpful to go ahead and get a master's degree from an educational institution. I've seen that a lot of jobs do prefer that, but there are a lot of jobs as well that say, like in parentheses, or you graduated from a boot camp. I do see that. But I'm the type of person where I need to get grades in order to be motivated. And so I had to get my master's degree. And it's funny because while I was doing my master's degree, I was also doing those boot camps everyone else was doing, you know, on my own. So it was really, really funny because, like I said, it's like I got that degree just to say I had the degree. Like, I didn't really need it. My full-time job that I do right now, which is in healthcare data analytics, is part of the data science domain, but I'm not called a data scientist. And that's a mistake a lot of people make. They go on to like Indeed or something like that and they type in data scientist jobs, entry-level data scientists. There's a lot of issues with that, including the fact that a lot of companies they're not even sure themselves what data science is. I was doing that for a while and I was like, I'm just getting nowhere right now. And so what I decided to do is just, forget about data science. I started typing in data analytic jobs. Okay, when I began to typing that in, I began to see many jobs that I was qualified for, right? And so the job I'm currently doing right now, I'm using SQL and Python and TABLEAU, Power BI, SPSS. So basically, a lot of data science things going on, but I'm not called a data scientist. So if I were you, I would not be too hung up on that name, because it's has a different definition across all industries. Not only do I work in the healthcare field full-time as, in data analytics, I also, like I mentioned before, teach. I do teach at a university and I teach SQL with the combination of TABLEAU. I'm telling y'all, please go learn SQL. It is the easiest thing. I am also teaching high schoolers in this one program, and they're actually learning Excel, Python, SQL, and TABLEAU. So that's really, really cool for them to learn that in high school. If I had learned that in high school, I don't think I would have gotten a bachelor's degree. I would have been set. I love that, more and more people are learning data analytics, because in the world that we're in today, everyone needs it. It's useful for every company, every industry. So with all those jobs, which is not a lie, okay, let me tell you something. People think I'm like, I do a lot. No, I have the normal, 40-hour week, but it's not as, it's not like literally sitting at my desk 8 hours straight. That's like, it's much more laid back than that, And then I also teach 4 days of the week. Yeah, Monday through Thursday, but they're only 1 hour a day. So, that's like a TV show. It's really not stressful for me. I'm teaching things that I know, so it's cool. And on top of that, all of my jobs are remote. Yes, I get to chill in my house. I get to roll out of bed and just turn on the laptop. I get to do all of those wonderful things. And that's a benefit of working in the tech world, really. We were stay at home before everyone else would stay at home. So there's that. Honestly, I didn't even intentionally try to, do all of these things together to get a high salary. It's only God that it ended up that way. But if you really want to be able to get up there, there's so many ways to do it that actually doesn't involve a degree. Just do your research and see what works out for you. But if you realize that, okay, the easiest way for me to do this is to get a degree, go get it. I've seen some people who have done the boot camp thing, and they thought just because they finished the boot camp, they were good. No, there's still a lot more work to do. Like I said, your portfolio, your projects, continuing to practice. You know, when they finish their boot camp, they stop coding. They stop coding for like a year and things like that. You will definitely lose it if that's the case. So I'm not biased or nothing, but honestly, if you don't know what to do, please come to the data analytics side. If I was able to learn all that math and all of that computer science, like all that programming in literally less than a year, you can too. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys learned not only a little bit about my life, but just more of the, you know, different career fields you can be in. Like I said, I am currently doing my doctorate at the same time. So I do have, my Monday through Fridays are really just bam, 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 bam. But I make sure to keep my weekends free and clear so I can at least have that social aspect that I need. I do have free time, mostly when I go to sleep, but honestly, it's cool. In a few years when I finish my doctorate, you know, I'll have a lot of free time on my hands. But until then, I'm gonna be relentless and I'm going to keep grinding. And you should too. Thank you guys for watching the second video of my YouTube channel. I am really glad that I'm able to speak on, you know, careers and the data analytics field, especially as African-American women. Yes, I think the last time I looked at a statistic for that, I think it said we were like, there's like 3% of us or something like in that specific, you know, field, the African-American women in like data science. There's like only 3%, something like that. Really, really small. So I am a huge advocate for women in STEM, you know, women in tech, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so what are you guys thinking? Like, are you thinking you should get into the data analytics field? And if you did, are you gonna go get a degree, or are you gonna try for boot camp and then try to push and do things on your own? I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching my YouTube video. And I'll see y'all later the next time we talk about life. Bye.